Ah, shit. I didn't come up with the fun race sponsor. Just call it the Traffic 400 or something. I'll come up with something better. Alright, we are underway. Feeling pretty good with the race pace I had. Was able to get the pole, but it wasn't really deviating that far from my race pace line, so usually that's a good sign that I'll be able to put in consistent laps. I also learned a few things in Homestead from last year that have helped me. They really apply in turns 1 and 2, not so much in 3 and 4 here, but kind of changed how I was approaching things at Homestead, and it was really helping, and I think that's gonna help me this year, because I'm starting to get used to the new type of cars that we had introduced last year. My old driving style wasn't necessarily suited to how these new cars drive, and so I'm needing to adjust that a bit, but now that I've figured out exactly what to do, I think it's going to help a lot. It's like some people have been hitting the wall. Hard to tell if that's lag or lag creating sound effects or people are having issues. Apparently people are having issues because there's a caution. Oh, way ahead. I guess everybody wrecked. Arson just wrecked everybody. That's what's going on there. Start at least. Hopefully I can keep that up for the rest of the race. Have another Martinsville. Got a better push there, which kind of forced him into beating me to the line, and then he had to give it up, and it was just kind of a clusterfuck for everybody behind me. Slow start. They're just impatient. Person's showing some speed. Burnout's moved up to 3rd. just enough to get me slightly offline in turn one, but other than that, this one has been pretty good so far. Big problem I just ran into with this track is that the disparity between between the low lane and high lane is pretty high because of how wide the track is. So if you do something like I did where I hit the apron on the exit and kind of lost my momentum, it affects your marks for the next corner because you're not carrying as much speed, so you don't slide as much, or you just aren't traveling quite as fast. So if you're carrying less momentum, you can pretty easily miss your next corner because of it. Right there I'd come out of the corner a bit too slowly, and so I tried to drive it in a little extra hard, but when I did that, I got more momentum from the outside lane, and so I hadn't braked enough to compensate for that. Ended up getting into the wall, so I haven't done a whole lot in dirty air, so I need to be careful here. This is the lag. I thought he was staying low, but turns out he pulled up in front of me, and then that was my fault for driving too hard in dirty air. Okay. Let's try to put down a couple good laps so that if Arson makes a mistake, then I can take advantage. Or we'll just get a caution and it won't matter. I don't know why Arson's giving me. He doesn't have to, but by the time I can communicate that, I'll already be gone. He didn't do anything. Overshot my pit stall. I was in the garage instead of my pit stall, so it cost me a second. Yeah, Arson was 100% to the good there. I had a little bit of a lag, so I thought he was I thought that Arson was giving me a lane up top, but he had used the whole track, which he had every right to, because I was a couple car lengths behind, but I thought he had given me a lane, so I was going to take it, but it turns out he didn't. It was just lag, and so he sort of teleported in front of me, basically, on my screen, and so I ran into the back of him. Alright, let's do this. 36 complete this time around. Give Arson the bump. See what happens. It's interesting. We're all going, so it's all good. Second time everybody's crashed in front of me and I kind of was the one to keep it going. Sorry, laugh. Not really a car glitch, just kind of got caught together. He's got a bit of a lead now. Burnout, Arson, me, Deluxe, and Laugh. Everybody's definitely got speed though. Arson's got fastest lap and he was the slowest qualifier. Deluxe was right on me in qualifying. Burnout was fastest in practice. Shimek's always faster in the race than he is in preliminaries. I guess that was the first hit where we didn't actually all get going. Because Laugh didn't have anybody to push him. Actually, yeah. Good pit entry there, so... Second out of it. I think Shimek's probably in the better spot. Couldn't tell if that was contact or what. Just all got tight. Quarter of the way through. That's a couple interesting runs so far. Six cars on this big track. Wouldn't surprise me if we ended up with a long green flag run at some point. Oh, as you call it that, yeah. That ended poorly. We were having a good little fight there too. Shemek with the Sims pit entrance there. Alright, so Deluxe stayed out on tires. It's like probably like a 4 or 5% disadvantage, which isn't too big. So he's probably not in a bad spot. And leg is cramping. Yeah. Oh. Lower my chair a bit. We'll make it work. Gonna have 140 to go. It's right around the 1/3 mark. Interesting. Moved by Arson. I tried to cross him over. Whoa. Give Arson that back since my corner was compromised because of dodging everybody else. He ended up taking the lead the next corner. That's twice. Twice in a row I got stopped. I got going better that time than the other time, but first one I probably should have called it, but that one I definitely will. I missed the cone there, so I figured I would give everybody more room to get around me. Apparently got Deluxe third instead of fourth, so I tried to pull into the garage there, but I missed it at the wall. I couldn't see it behind. I think I just missed it with one of the lights. I didn't see exactly where I was going. Went out and I had shitty starts there. Getting a long green flag run and get some track position will be okay, I think. Fuck. Then here I am. Get a little bit more lag here too. Just missed fastest lap. Arson got some draft benefit on his fastest lap, so that's something, but I've done faster without draft benefits, so that's not really really an excuse. Some time on Arson and laugh here. Yeah, big issue there. I wonder if he had got the fuck. He got the big bounce off the outside wall. It looked like. Stop worrying about burnout. Just run around doing race. Trying to provide commentary to give context to all of our viewers from North Korea. Not focusing on, hey, if you're in dirty area, you should slow down a little bit more on exit. So you're going to slide extra. If I got enough speed to win this damn race, I just need to put together some laps. Decent pack here. Burnout laugh on Shemek. So that means Arson and Deluxe are first and second. Got a gnat on my screen. Why is there a little black pixel wandering around? Oh, it's a bug. If I got it or not. I've caught up with these four. Try to do something with them. Too much apron there, but luckily Shemek made the mistake, which made Laugh have to take evasive action, so he didn't get a very good run. That allowed me to clear him. Also, obviously gets me past Shemek. And we got one more in view. That's Arson, so that means Deluxe is leading. not leading. We both kind of did the same thing. Oh, Burnout's pitting early. Playing that game. A bit too hard there. Issue with lag there. Got lucky and saved it though. Now if this goes green to the end, Burnout's in a decent spot with where he's putting his pit stops. I don't know if there's enough of a benefit to getting tires to really play that game. Risk a caution. She-Mex in the pits as well. Both Harson and Deluxe wrecked in the same corner. I managed to get the lead out of it. See what my lap times are on old fuel. Old tires and high fuel. Low fuel, whatever the fuck it is. Caution would be interesting because She-Mex and Burnout would both get caught out. Well, I guess they're both within one. Or no, they're probably 2 laps down. She-Mex 2 laps down. I don't know about Burnout. Doesn't really matter though, because we're on completely different strategies at this point. He ran out as I got to my pit. It's been third, so I'm assuming that means Deluxe is pit or not. Deluxe has it, that means I'm the real leader. If not, that means Burnout is. assuming that means Burnout is the effective leader, or maybe Deluxe if he had pit earlier. So I can't really remember at this point. Completely clear track, nobody in either direction. If it is Burnout, I got pretty smooth sailing. See if I'm taking fuel only. 20 to go. It's a pretty easy decision. Have that option. Okay, so it was me and Burnout then. Alright. Arsenal's still on the loop. Okay. Probably a good caution for Burnout. I don't know if Deluxe or Shemek was cause. Since Shemek was cause, it's bad caution for him. But that'll get Deluxe back onto the lead lap. Laugh back onto the lead lap. Deluxe is in a bit of a bind because he's on older tires, but it's not a huge disadvantage as much as it could be. And either way, he'll be within one stop from the end. He might just have to take tires and the rest of us might not, but yeah, I was 3.5 seconds behind Burnout, which he was maybe a half second or so ahead of me when he pit. So that means he basically gained 3 seconds from that, but I think I would have whittled that down pretty easily. I don't know exactly what the comparative lap times were, but I'm assuming I was a little bit faster than him. Probably would have caught him by the time he had to pit at least. And then I would have had the benefit of fuel only in the last stop. So I think it would have worked out if it went green, but Larson pushed me into that. Last leading. Looks like Burnout's gonna end up with the most bonus points, unless I like lead the rest of the race from here. But I think I've got either close to or have 2 bonus points, so it's not terrible. I did see what was going on. She Beef Deluxe. He was calling the caution, but I guess he was having trouble with typing or whatever. Alright, so this will put us at a window where if it goes green, might have to save fuel for a lap or two. But should be able to go to the finish without too much of an ado. Of a to-do, not an ado. Nice. Arson's trying to save fuel. I have 53 to go at the line, so that's right on the edge of a fuel window, but it's giving me 52 to go. It's giving me 53 is my number, so caution. That's not what it's called, I think. It's laughing arson together. Almost a very bad time for lag. Schmeck's up to second on track, but he's still a lap down. This has been the caution causer twice in a row, so he hasn't been able to get his lap back. He's definitely got speed though. Right with me, and I'm doing some pretty decent laps. That's Schmeck. Don't have anybody in between me and burnout. A solid gap so far. Working okay on fuel. Big mistake there because of lag. I timed my braking wrong. Are starting to transition a bit on tires. to carry momentum. Deluxe up in front. It's starting to catch me a little bit, but oh, fuck. Starting to catch me a lot now. Of course, I bounced it off in the worst place possible. Pressure off me from behind. Is that a caution? Let's hoping it's caution. If Burnout makes a mistake, I can catch him, but he's good ways ahead. Trying to catch him a little bit. I couldn't see him before, now I can. To try to make something happen, but this lag, it's making it harder to be aggressive. It's too wide. I'm hearing stuff that sounds like cautions, and I'm hoping, but apparently not. Just had a bit too much lag to really make a run at it. Got 5 to go. He's in traffic, maybe that'll hurt him, but he's just going to be cautious. I've caught up a bit, but Shemek, of course, sets fastest lap. I've caught up significantly, but just not enough unless he crashes. Yeah, 1.5, that's not a bad margin considering how I put it off the wall and bounced way off. 1.5 seconds isn't a bad margin at all, but I caught up a little bit, but with like 20 to 10 to go, or no, it's more like 25 to 15 to go. I was having just enough lag spikes that it was making my braking, like you'd brake and it would just be a little bit consistent with feel, so I couldn't be quite as aggressive as I wanted to. But those last like 8 laps or so, I was feeling really confident. I made up a bunch of time. I'd be interested to see what the maximum margin was to where I ended up coming back to, but it just wasn't enough to catch up after such a big mistake. And then he, through the middle of that run, he was faster than me, so it was a lot to make up. But well raced by Burnout. He was a second and a half ahead of me, and then Deluxe was 9.5 seconds back from me, so that's 11 seconds back from the lead, and then about 13 for Laugh and Arson, which they were I guess right up next to Burnout, which slowed him down a bit too. But he's putting down some good laps towards the end, so I'm happy about that, but wish I had not made the mistake and wish I had given a better fight, but that's how it goes sometimes. Alright, as Burnout makes his way to victory lane, that'll be it for me, so I'll see y'all next time. Thank you.